All right, folks, let's get right to it because, sometimes when life hands you lemons, you make lemonade. And sometimes when they give you scammers, you punch them in the face. And so I got to start the show by saying that I will never solicit anybody for money. If anyone is using Harmonic Trader or my name, Scott Carney, asking for money, please tell them to go where and contact me to let me know. Not only on my Discord, but on the YouTube channel. It's just, it seems like a couple people think we've got a huge crew here when it's just a quality party with friends. So keep that in mind and let's get to it. So we got Nasdaq doing remarkable things. And I've been saying to my crew that I really felt like any sell-off on Nvidia, maybe as low as 108, 110, would be a big buying opportunity, and it probably still is. It's only down 4 today. That's nothing. And we're going to talk about what's going on with the Nasdaq. So great to see everybody. What's going on? Welcome to the midday Thursday edition of Harmonic Pattern Podcast, and let's talk about higher harmonic patterns. Where is the market going, and how we're going to position between now and the election. Been crazy, and not a single person I don't talk to, either on the forum or friends or family, everybody's feeling it. So just, hold in. And let's be patient with it and stick to the framework. If we don't have opportunities, we don't have clear signals, just be patient. Patient with it all. Crypto, Nasdaq, all of this stuff. That's your test. That's what really separates people in terms of their ability to stay focused, kind of tune out the noise, and just lead yourself through these markets. So let me help you with some patterns, some signals, and looking at the Nasdaq right now, let's talk about the hourly chart, electronic. Well, we can do real time too. And we've printed a counter dot against a bearish pattern. We've been going sideways for a while. This means it has some significance for sure in the face of crazy narrative. So great to see everybody. What's going on? Hawk, David, appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Meb, the Pons is in the house. What's up, man? We will talk Friday. OG, Mr. Gregory, Victoria, Jewelry, everybody. Great to see you guys. What's up, Red? Bang, bang, HTs. Let's get it. So I'll jump to Nvidia in a second. Let's lay that out because a couple of different ideas, but I want to talk about where we will be in the future. And I mean, not just tomorrow, next week, but what's the underlying current here? Clearly, they're trying to throw it down. I thought yesterday's aftermarket action, I want to show you guys. We had this beautiful crab pattern, okay? And it was a real sneaky thing because yesterday afternoon, we're trying to sell it, and it just didn't want to give it up until after hours. And it was a T1 right there, and double dot, HSI dot. And normally we would look for the return phase, but an amazing thing happened after hours. So let me just leave that with this. There's the type 1 reaction. Okay, type 2 return. These are the framework expectations in the same way that we look at patterns, signals, and the hop 176. Now we go to electronic 24-hour session. Okay, there it was. Why are we rallying? Because we hit that crab hop on the 5-minute yesterday, descended back not only off of that, but back into this hourly zone that seems to be really stubborn. And if this is what happened in August, we got to think about it this way too. This is a 10% correction. That's a big deal. in the 90s, between 95 and 2000, believe we had 10% corrections on their way to 5,000. And that was a 10% correction. We never came back. 18.5. That would be the type 2, but what we're looking at here is always write it down to either counter trend HSI, trendline break, or target. And clearly we're generating a couple dots, but the other thing, and these are simple techniques, folks, that you can line up where once you get the pattern completion, go 30 bars. What's it doing? No effect, no response. We can reset and reconsider at a second confirmation. But even off of that, what's going on? 30 bars later, you find yourself not even out of the zone, and now we're printing a bullish dot. Yeah, that's where we're at. So it's, part of, especially new folks, part of what we do, okay, is analyze the price action after we get the move and get the trigger. That's optimizing in the zone. That's a critical strategy as a part of patterns. And, I didn't know that very early on. All I could tell you early on, which was a big discovery, was like, hey, we have a W formation. Where's the B point? Oh, that's at a 50%. Well, it's not a Gartley, as everyone used to interpret. It's a bat at the 886. But what makes that from a pattern to a trade? Confirmation. Even simple price action like, violate the uptrend before we can expect anything. So taking all of that into account with where we're at currently, a lot to consider. Hey, look, everyone, consider this. Go getting a 2-week free trial. Send your TradingView username to hpc@sr-analyst.com. I've got a new special. Everyone's been asking for a discount for that. I've got a 10% off for new trials. And then I will release on Tuesday updated discount package here for gold members to get on and get with us. Monday's a holiday, incredibly. Are you kidding me? Already Labor Day? Let's check the calendar. Yeah. So Monday's Labor Day holiday. We'll be back on Tuesday, but get with the program, get with Harmonic Trader. Of course, become a basic member at harmonictrader.com, and it all starts there. Get the free trials, then come on over. Let me see. Yeah, also we've started the Monday sessions with some live trading, and I have received a number of requests about getting funded. I did it years ago with Top Step, where I passed the test just to see what it was like. And then they asked me to do another test, so I just said no thanks. I thought it was a scam, but I think it's come a long way. So I'll probably have some information for people. I'm trying to locate a good firm maybe to partner with. So you guys have any questions or you have any recommendations, send me a note. I'd appreciate it, because I do see the need for it, and I think what we're going to do more of as we get into September are live trading sessions on Nasdaq, NQ. We can do ES as well, but I think there's tremendous value there. Let's look at Nasdaq right now on 30-second chart. Oh, really nice bat pattern. Yeah, some nice patterns. Really, really great patterns. Great volatility this morning. And let's see. The number one strategy that we've been looking at in the chat are following these 5-minute dots, something like that check back from yesterday, and then overlaying some 30-second patterns. And that's been giving us some really nice and precise levels. Here you go. So there's the arrow. The 5-minute signal was there. roughly we had some trending resistance down, which what happened, but it was kind of been frustrating during the afternoon hours, and then they clock it pre-market or post-market, but that's how it goes. I still say we're in the summer session, but I think September is going to be just completely nuts. September, October, November, these next 3 months, I think they're going to go down in history. It's going to be some of the most volatile action the market's ever seen. And again, we'll get to the VIX chart in a second, but the fact that the VIX got to 65 is rarely a one-off. It's kind of like a light switch goes on. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about some long-term patterns, because here we are on the weekly with NQ. And this is another one where pattern completed all the way back there last summer. And it was an 886 reaction. We've talked about that. But this would be the second place to consider. And check it out. You know, your 30 weeks. Tell me what's happening in that 30-week window, folks. Up. Still up. And I think Nvidia and now today Apple, really nice response. These are signs. These are signs that what it wants to do is probably more of the same. And I think a lot of you were with me back in 2022 when we were at these lows and we had all those patterns. Well, now you're seeing the continuation of what started back then. I mean, I always argued that would be the decade low. And now you did the 886 right there, perfect. And now 1618, perfect. But reaction down. Did that get to, it wasn't a 382 off the low, but it was a 236 for sure. Where do we go, 886, or do we do another? Are we about to do a 1618? Because I'm getting more of the opinion that the shakeout in August was it. And then we find ourselves doing a big 1618 no matter what happens in November. And I know that's not what most folks here want to hear, but that's what it seems like that shakeout was. Better way to even think about it. Every throwdown since that low has been a 1618. Like at minimum 1618. In case that was a 224, another 1618, but hey, another 224. Does it happen in threes? It sure does. Very well could be a bearish 3 drives extreme. Let's do it this way. The next 224 on this, like there, 224, back down, 1618. That's how we get to 23K. 224, much higher, like 25K. And I want people thinking like that. I've seen this show before. Okay, I've given this thing enough time. We're going to have wild swings as the big money likes to throw it around and generate quarterly revenue for their firms. What we need to do is respond to the bigger signals when they are clear and ride it. And just get the trend right. Get the direction right. And so let's do that. It's, you know, what has been happening for the last few years, and dare I say, since 2008, because that's where things have gone crazy. You know, financial crisis, first, that's where quantitative easing really began. And then it just started to accelerate, never looked back. And every wave here, okay, continues to get more aggressive. That's not going to stop. I mean, we can barely see the COVID blip COVID was 2 months down, probably the best buy, one of the best buys really of the last 5 years in anything, and that's just looking even at QQQ. And with that kind of a momentum, folks, you would need to see, a lot of things generate that are kind of off the charts, meaning black swan style stuff, banks failing, Fed tightening rates because inflation got out of control. Guess what? None of that happened. None of that happened. Right now, the only thing you're dealing with is the big 1618 monthly. The other thing that I'm looking at, where from Harmonic Strength Index perspective, HSI, that's our proprietary harmonic indicator, on the monthly chart, we really couldn't even expect a change in this character until HSI breaks under the 50. If we were breaking under the 50 and stalling out, much like we did 2021, I would say, all right, you're going to expect pressure until we can generate an oversold signal. That's not going on. Even we go back to the dot, little HSI dot, that's our confirmation dot, go back from 2018 and then 2019, okay, that just put a temporary cap on the progress. And undeniably, once we broke out, you didn't look back. Even better, you had a counter dot that sent it, just like 2022. 2020, 2022, get the picture. Now we're trying to retest that area, but I'm watching HSI. And so until we see that, until we see HSI in the monthly here, maybe weeklies might even be a little bit better, because look, we're pointing in the up direction. And so get the direction right. There's a couple ways, basic ways, that I'll look at any trend. Can I draw an uptrend? Can I make an honest assessment that, market is moving in a clear trend going back 30 weeks, 30 bars easily? And then even, I think in a better sense, HSI directionally, that's trending up, and we might not realize it in price just yet, but you're getting there, and once we break the 50, which could happen in about a week, and this is the same exact signal we're looking for in Bitcoin, then you break out and you do that 1618 move. So clean the chart. Let's look at that. Let's look at Nvidia really quick. Hold on. There's Nvidia. Down 5 at the moment. All right. What's Nvidia doing? That's a monthly chart, a weekly chart. Trending up. Also, dailies like this. Now, this is where I'm looking at this is after yesterday's announcement. I think it's fairly mild. I'm not too concerned. I think it's a gift. If we can get Nvidia to come back to do this. Okay, 4-hour chart. We had the bearish bat. We talked about that last time. T1 here, like 115. I'm thinking 108, 110, 106. That would be the end of the reaction. We already see we're kissing oversold. Look, if there was a real problem, Nvidia would be down 10, be down 15 points. It's not. I think a lot of people are concerned that Nvidia is overextended, and there's a couple ways you could look at that. I'm not one of them. I just, we've talked about Nvidia at several instances over the last 2 years. Most notably this bat pattern. I mean, that was at 400 pre-split, a perfect type 2. And that's what we're looking for going forward. We want to see type 2 bullish patterns on the daily, weekly oversold, and then ride the continuation of the trend. I'll show a few here in a second. Okay, but Nvidia, whatever it's going to do right now, let it do it. Then come back in, and a week or two, we might find ourselves at a prime spot where that's the shakeout. I'd even venture to say it's kind of, you're shaping up at like a high level. Can you get some kind of head and shoulders here? Consolidation, come back down a little bit more, and then resume it. What's market cap? Probably just shy of 3 billion now. Where does that go? 5 billion, 6 billion. I know that sounds crazy, but they are putting up numbers. This is not fluff, and it is a .com style revolutionary asset. I think you look at stuff like Amazon, Microsoft, all of those, where they did the unthinkable well beyond the point where the consensus was this is going too far, too fast. So be aware of that. I definitely think that you're looking for the next jump on point for Nvidia, and it's against that low. That is the capitulation low within this long-term uptrend. And I put a chart on X the night before saying, you know what? It might not happen now, but once we get this area resolved with current pullback, post-earnings announcement, all that kind of stuff, this does not change. This trend channel that started at the low at, what's that low? Like split adjusted 130 at 2022. This is just a pause at the top end of the channel, come on back down, and then resume. And we have to talk about a number of companies, stocks. I mean, what I'm going to talk about here in a minute, these are all about the long-term success and continuation of a lot of companies I've talked about before. They are slow movers. I call them forever stocks, but they just keep running. So that's the Nvidia situation. And I think you got to stay in a mindset of bullish opportunity on retracements. So let it do its 4 or 5 points today. Let's jump to the SPY, S&P 500, and then we'll get over to Bitcoin. Look, SPY's like this. That's a monthly chart. Okay. Monthly dot, the dot check back phenomenon. That's the same trigger we look at on 5 minutes. Form the dot, retest the body, namely the open, and then get going. It just took time. Again, note, especially those that are new with the software, acceleration happens when you go 50 to 886. Deceleration, or a continuation of the downtrend, will go under 50 to 113. Those are the extremes of HSI. We talked about that in a dedicated HSI session. What was that, a week or two ago? I think so. And folks, there's nothing bearish about that chart right here, except for maybe this weekly crab, but this actually helps us for the SPY. Look at the weekly. We got oversold. Let me bring the HSI arrows back on so we have a real clear idea of the evidence and the argument behind this, that we got the beautiful reaction off the 1618. That's what 561.48 was. We talked about that really all summer preceding the move, right in July, and it was a throwdown, but that was it. That was the one reaction. So with that framework, okay, and the type of reaction that it was, we just generated a counter HSI signal, meaning your HSI arrow pointing up against a bearish pattern. What happens then? We'll go back into the zone. You're going to spend more time up here. And as I started with some of those Nasdaq charts, we are in the 30-month count. Okay, doesn't have to do it in 30 bars, but our limit puts us into February, where this could continue to run and even go for the hop, 618. So market here, we're still bullish. This month has been an amazing, just an amazing month. I don't know why the monthly keeps flashing like that, but clearly the same parameters are there. The other thing to note, again, look at HSI. What's it doing? It's on a firm uptrend. Until that would turn down, roll over, give us a dot, just so we're clear, we go higher. And I will be updating this, but 618.44 to me is a likely objective now by the end of January. And that's been, end of January for me has been a big timeline date going forward. What I want to see with this week and into next week, because I think a lot of people are super antsy that we're still up. It's going to climb that wall of worry. And this is cracking the 50 level already. So I would expect next week we get acceleration. Let's just see here, because it's absolutely the last, really this summer did the reaction on a lot of different levels that would suffice for an intermediate trend retracement. Go to the daily here. The other thing about the daily, which is where we're up here now, we were drawing out this all summer long. In fact, it was probably over here. I was like, okay, complete the crab pattern, go to type 1, and then go back for the return move. But it happened over here. Dot, hits the hop, then goes down all the way to T2. Now you're all the way back. What needs to happen? There's a check back. You won't get a dot until you get one more bearish day. And then we would see. But it's the strength of this, the fact that you've got some weekly stuff behind it. It's not even ready to trigger just yet. Hey, we could look at this tomorrow. Definitely we come back Tuesday. Maybe we get a dot here. In my opinion, though, this pushes a little bit higher. You get above 565, you get to 567. That's going to force a failure on that pattern. And you can go back to prior instances. We've had, like here's a shark doing the harmonic pause for a dud, and then look what you get, counter HSI. Oh, what was that about? Yeah, I remember that back in January. That counter HSI at a high level, that sent it. Keep going higher. So, it's the whole thing's at an interesting spot. And it's not a formal type 2 yet. In terms of if you were thinking it's bearish, and there are people looking for the end of the world to happen, end of the world won't start until at least I get a dot. And until then, the wall of cash continues to flood. It's absolutely a remarkable phenomenon going on here. And before I get out of the stock universe, this is the gist of today's presentation, okay? That we have a crab pattern, the diamonds, okay? That would be the SPY, equivalent of the SPY for the Dow. Hop level 422. It was a remarkable type 1, then a type 2 now, but where's the dot? And remember, those charts where we looked at with Nasdaq, where they continued up into the zone until they verifiably printed the signal. So you're on a rope up to 422, and then I'm going to highlight a couple of dramatic conditions. Here's the diamonds, the weekly, same type of crab pattern, but it's getting bypassed. Deep crab. Okay, now we're checking back, but you're 2 weeks away. And then again, tell me about HSI. What's the last signal? Oversold. What's the direction? Actually overbought, but what's the direction? Turning up at the 50. We're overbought, but we don't have a dot. That's why we're early. No doubt, some of these issues have done remarkable moves like Walmart, Coca-Cola, but until we get a dot, until price action can print some bearish candles weekly, okay, this remains. And the bypass move, we've seen it before. Okay, I go back to 2017, and these are examples we're going to really rely on going forward. Remember Dow at 20,000 with the old guy, the other guy? Well, let's learn to look at these patterns as not just end-all be-all structures, but more, as I've always said from the first book, 1998 till today, it's a signpost, as a yield sign. Look for the reaction, then tell me what happens in those 30 bars. We go bullish. Throwdown reaction, oversold, yellow dot, massive continuation. Even if you were looking at that saying, where's the signal for a bear? We didn't get anything until a full monster move. And same deal's going on. We can go back in history, and we're going to have to go back in history because we're making history as we speak. 2014, everybody wanted to sell this thing. 2013, 2014, people were saying, you know, how these zero rates can stay so low. I'm worried what happens when they do raise rates. Well, same phenomenon, guys. Look, beautiful pattern. A throwdown move for 6-8 weeks, and then you generate some counter signals that just keep sending it. So that's it. I mean, those are the diamonds. That's the Dow getting sexy as we speak, for real. Now, we got to look at just a couple. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but Coca-Cola, guys, wow. And if you go back to last summer, we were nailing that right at the hop at 51, picked it clean. And I said it was a forever stock. So what does a forever stock mean? It means it's just, it benefits from the easy money policy that started really 2008, has accelerated since 2020, and will not stop. But look at that chart. I mean, it's a remarkable uptrend. And if we just use our regression channel, okay, we're at the top end of that channel, but that just continues. Our goal for as long-term investors, okay, is to size up these channel retests. 52, back here COVID was 40. We're popping above the channel right now. Definitely overextended. Not until HSI rolls over, but you get the picture. One or two more. Walmart. I mean, these are old economy that just are going to continue. Look at that chart. It is remarkable. There was a year ago, there was a daily. Well, there's another bearish bypass. The daily, we had a shark. Where was it? We had a shark way back when on this one. I'll have to come back. I know I had a shark there. Let me come back to this. No, it wasn't 2022. I mean, a really nice opportunity, but I'll come back to that. But continuation dots all over the place. Now, what about something for right now? I like Johnson & Johnson. Really, the weekly already did the type 2. Daily. It was a daily type 2. There you go. A bunch of patterns down there. 140, 143. Okay, yes, you're at a T2 off of that shark, but look at the monthly. Okay, resuming and staying within that uptrend. This would be a primo candidate for a forever stock. You're looking in this channel area to get it, write it, put it away for your kids. Talk to me when we do the next monthly 1618. That's what's going on in this market. Longer term, these trends are firmly intact, and we're trying to size up monster opportunities. Here's another one, Merck. Daily on Merck, that's the monthly. Daily on Merck is like this. The last one was a bat pattern down here. And I'll give you one more here. Oh, I know what it was. And this thing is probably too far, but Costco. You know, these major retailers, the daily shark from just last month. Okay, at 790. That's going to be a very big continuation structure once we firmly get to all-time new highs. And you look at that monthly chart. Just remarkable. You know, on the upper end of the channel for now. But this is what I'm thinking about going forward. This is a part of a lot of the 1 to 3, 3 to 5 year comments I've been making for several months now going into next year. That these trends are, dare I say, accelerating. They've pierced a lot of long-term channel constraints. And I've got a list that I'm putting together of long-term markets that I feel like, you know, the Johnson & Johnson, Coca-Cola of the world, you know, you want to hodl into Bitcoin in that manner, you can hodl into these. Let's get over really quick for I click to Bitcoin. Quick peek at gold. It's another market that absolutely has had my attention for a long time. Ever since this resistance to go back and do a retest. 2020, I was looking at like 2100, 2200 retest. Nope, not going to happen. Where are you on this chart? Long term, that breakout that started only in January is going to lead to a massive continuation, a massive. I think 2560 is not much to consider if you're going to 28 or 3500, and that's where it's going. Why? Well, firmly uptrend is intact, and this is something where you're at the top end of the channel, but maybe your median channel is like 2100, and then throw some harmonic extensions there. What's it doing at the 1618, which is the big number we've talked about? There you go. You hit it last month at 2480. This is a massive extension. You know, the layered number on the 1618 is a 1902. So 2750 by December is easy. And I think that's what you're accelerating to now. Gold did something very interesting this year. It never retraced after January. And December, January, November to a lesser extent, it usually begins a seasonality that you see a push in those months and then it cools off into the spring. This did not. And I'm just going to leave the 314 extension on gold there because that's really the geometric assumption where we've gone from reactive 1618, 1902 layer to where this is an extreme extension. That's it. It's an extreme extension. So if people are looking for a top in gold, it's not happening. You would want and really hope for a pullback. I think we got to bring it down to a 4-hour chart and just be looking at every dot there and there. We're hitting some dots here, but playing it for the next run up. I guess the last one was early August. And even that could barely do, you know, a 5%, 7% correction. It's big stuff, guys. I've been staring at charts since literally, God, 1980, 1982. As a kid, I used to look at Value Line Investment Survey and with awe look at those charts like, wow, how did that thing go from there to there? It's monetary growth. It's when you expand the monetary supply, that's how you get market capitalizations to grow. It funnels itself into gold. And I'm not underestimating the fact that the real world environment out there is as whack as I've ever seen it. I mean, whack is just, it's not weird. People throwing that, gaslighting that term around. It's whacked. And we have to get into the mindset of what's going on here outside of all that noise. You know, turn them off, turn them all off, and let's focus on the charts. Side note, recently I was asked to be interviewed for something on Bloomberg, and I declined it because it doesn't serve me any good. Maybe I'll share that with you guys another time. That's how much I've got that stuff turned off. And I want to project myself into the next 1-3 years of whatever this momentum is doing, where it's taking us. It's showing, it's revealing itself now. And I've been saying that for a while on gold. It's just remarkable action. So if you're not looking at that, if you're not, you know, you don't have that massive trader cap on, like, let's get focused, please. You're here, you're learning. It's been a great growth experience all year for everybody, especially on the Discord, the software, the website. And I have, you know, I have some real ideas of what I want to do, things that I have not done ever in this career running Harmonic Trader, Harmonic Patterns. Share with you guys that I turned the big 55 in about 10 days. It's a big number for me. And it's not like I'm, I enjoy it. I rather enjoy it. I rather enjoy being this age at this time. I wouldn't want to be a younger guy right now. But what I can do is share my experience, the knowledge, the strategies to help you folks get where you need to go. I mean, I had an older guy who used to mentor me, and through the years I was able to meet some legends, rub shoulders. I did a trade show with Mark Douglas back in 1998. All of my conversations with him just woke my eyes up. But the biggest thing of all, in my opinion, is the realization that the equity markets are going to get pushed by this debt and money supply printer that never went off. And my goal with Harmonic Trader is to help everybody benefit from that in the next 3 to 5 years. Then we'll see. 1 minute. All right, so if gold's doing that, why isn't Bitcoin making its move? Let's get to it. Just because it hasn't done the trigger yet, but it's all fine. Bitcoin's fine. I'm not. This is where we have to register the readings, really dig deep on the analysis, and then get super accurate with the positioning and the levels, and then write it. So here's Bitcoin up 1,300. It was above, it was down 4K. I posted something about Bitcoin where a couple days ago where I said, hey, it's running out of time, and then down 4K. And I just like, forget it. You know, it's a nothing. They're playing games with this. So please don't get distracted. A lot of people calling for Bitcoin crash. This is the absolute top. No, it's not. It's not. You're at a temporary inflection point. Okay. But what do we know needs to happen? Weekly HSI doing a little bit of a jig, as I like to say, but look, you get above the 50 level, that's your launch pad right there. So this consolidation zone that we're looking at has a lot of things we want to sink our teeth into. And the numbers are more like 60K. It's as a minimum level where this will bounce underneath there. There's our yellow dot. Okay, you're just trying to throw it down against that continuation signal. That's 65. Hold on. All right, thanks. So we got to be patient with it, but here's something that's going to help everyone. Where was that signal? Up at the yellow dot. Let's just go off the highest inflection. Go to the right. You're 20 bars into this. 30 more and you're done. So either way, the waiting is over before the end of the year. And now we have, let's get Shark to 5-0. There you go. Well, trend channel, yeah. And if this is the lower end of the trend channel, folks, like we've seen so many times before, I think God is speaking with a big lightning bolt as I say that's support. It's just a matter of time until this thing resolves itself, and then look, you clear out this lower right hand stuff. That's, you just continue. I mean, if you're going off the trend channel, that lower regression channel is it. You're looking for that to continue as triggered by a 50 breakout like that. And you can go back the last couple of instances here. All right, man, I would argue that we're in a slightly different situation because we've made a lot of progress. But even if you were going to assume a short-term move like there, or crossing up above the 50 here, that's a big deal. When it happens, and I'll put a line here, make it easier. All right, like this. Hold on. Bear with me. Here you go. So the last few times, broken out of the 50 level. There. There. And I recommend, if you guys are working with the software, especially new folks with the software, work through your charts empirically. Say, okay, we had that signal there. What did it mean? Every time you found progress, if not major progress, on the 50 breakout. And that's what we're looking for again at this area. I've always said that this is something that the 1025 target that is all the way here. Okay, not till January. I definitely thought the launch pad would have started like June, but so far, not so much, but that's okay. In fact, that last sell-off at 49, that might have been enough. This is a time issue. It's not even a price issue. It's not a time issue. So we're going to have to kind of sit in the hole with this until we get that signal breakout. And where's the shark to 5-0? There it is. Last thing I'm going to say about Bitcoin, and then I'll show me your stuff. If this is a shark, okay, how much time do we need to give it? And what are the signals? Just like we saw with Nasdaq and a few others, 30 bars, 30 weeks. 30 weeks is here, end of September. So a month from pretty much today, the time will be up. It's good to see that we've had a reaction off the pattern. That's good. And we never got to T1, but you got 1, 2, and we will get a second yellow dot, the next bullish green bar. So I think crypto is a matter of people's expectations. as long as you are in trending crypto. And Bitcoin's day is going to come where you go from 5 digits to 6. But it's after the next green candle and we get the weekly to go up. If that's in a week, 4 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever, it's likely this end of the year, before the end of the year, that I guess they're putting this off. They're going to put it off, but I wouldn't want to be not allocated. 4 weeks from now, we are where we are. We still don't make progress. We're 58, 60, 61, whatever. I would say the mojo's running out. And look for that to be a pattern failure. We've seen that before. Let's go. Yeah, guys, I'll let you know. My birthday's the 7th, so it's a Saturday. Maybe we'll do a birthday thing next week early. Yeah, it's big, you know. I want to do something with it. I want to do it for the community. I think just a fantastic community. We got new people coming in, except for some scammers. I left a message for them that I will come to their house and I will take them out. But, you know, I'm serious on this in a way that I probably haven't been ever. Because I see the wall of cash coming. And I think it's going to be phenomenal. You want to be a trader? You want to be an investor? You think you missed the boat? Nope. People said that 2013, 2015, 2020, they were saying it. No, I'm talking about from now to the end of the decade for all of these assets. Really quick, before I move on, I do want to show total index. We're like this. Where'd you go? Total 1. Beautiful double dot. It's a big deal. And if you're new to the software or you don't know how to read the dots, we've got some videos on that. Check the channel and come into the Discord. But the fact that you have a double dot here is really nice. It's setting up, once we stabilize here, for that move to get above the 50. So total index, of course it's going to mirror Bitcoin. But from a larger perspective, this does have potentially the W framework where the 1618 extension, which is what we're utilizing as our minimum target objective, from there, that is an 886. So this becomes a deep crab, 50%. Oh, I didn't know it went down that far. That becomes a deep crab. Connecting dots. 1618, 4.4 trillion. And that'll be the target. Minimum. I've done this before. Did this in the crypto webinar. But that's our assumption. We're in a trending market. Regardless of the last 6 months. And now, I want to see that final move to exhibit the strength needed, not only to blast out of here, but blast to all-time highs. Now, I think the one thing people have to assume, though, going forward, whatever your crypto is, if you're in the cellar with your crypto currently, at best, maybe you get some recovery. But those that are really going to trend, I think they're kind of showing themselves now. Let's look at total 3. Because total 3 is another situation, very close. This has a pattern, a big weekly pattern, that I know most people, especially folks new to the patterns, they're going to be like, yeah, right. You know, how are you reading that? You know, why are you assuming such an aggressive stance? Well, the relative pattern that we have, the bat pattern, marked the consolidation of this whole first move. This will end up being, the 2020 cycle will end up being a first thrust. That's it. It was a first thrust, crypto emergence, and now What it did is gave you a beautiful retracement bat. Remember what I said when we started the session. Harmonic patterns unto themselves are a signpost of future action. It's a yield sign. It is a traffic light. It's blinking and saying, hey, look at this area for a change in character. Now, we did the type 1 move. That was the pre-halving rush. Definitely. And then we came back and we actually kissed that XA level to satisfy the structural type 2 reversal. It's there. The software is kicking it out. The T2. These are the standard algorithms. That's why I say to everybody, yes, it's good to know how to draw patterns manually, but the level of sophistication and refinement in these algos for the patterns, a lot of times there will be patterns that maybe you could draw, the software is not going to kick out because it's outside the tolerance levels. I mean, exact. This one's not. Not to mention, you've got confirmation here. So 474, major floor, currently 574. What are you looking for? Acceleration breakout. If we get a couple of strong days into Sunday, that thing's a go. It's a go, and a lot of people might be seeing something where be like, okay, maybe we get a big candle like that, and then that sets it off. That would be ideal. But to me, I'm already thinking go on this. It's just, let's focus in on exact situations that are going to get us to buy it on the throwaway move. Might have been August, might have been the beginning of the month, where a lot of them got washed out. But just from experience, waiting for that clear acceleration trigger is going to save you from potential drawdown. So that's still the move we're looking for. What's up, Jay? You still say the bat at 42.5? Maybe, but the bat on Bitcoin at 42.5, that would be a shark to 5.0. It would have to roll over. Get a couple of bearish weekly closes, and that's not what it's expressing. I mean, we're literally a strong week away from saying go. So purely from harmonic pattern framework, folks. Total DeFi was the other one. Okay, big bat pattern down here. This was a back-to-back scenario. I don't think it's as nice as Total 3, but you had a couple of things where Total DeFi did register a type 2, no confirmation. I'm watching it because this thing could be, the DeFi could give us the up signal and then go much higher. Even though we just finished the reaction 3 weeks ago and a quick jig back up, but the bullish dot is what's kind of cluing me in on the fact that might be it for the throwdown move. Once we get back above that 50 level. One moment. All right, shill coin. You guys, you can shill some coins. I'll jump to Ethereum, sure. Ethereum like this. Still preferring structurally. I'm preferring Solana over Ethereum, and I know it's Ethereum, so I don't want to be dismissive, but Ethereum's in a different spot. Weekly, we're not there in terms of giving us any kind of continuation signal, not just yet. The 2650, 29 to 2650 area breakdown, that's a bit of a problem for me. You go back here, we were looking at from there to here with the bat, it was like that. What happened? Another counter HSI, 50 is lower. That's different than, say, Solana. And again, Reading the signals here. Okay. Type 2 bat, 130, 129, depending on your feed, as low as 120. What's that? Binance was 116. But you're seeing the responses. Daily got an overbought HSI, which, all right, it links up with what we were seeing in Bitcoin, that it needs to turn up, turn around. The weekly's like this. Okay, couple of dots. There's a high level dot here. Weekly did turn down on Solana, and I would be looking for this to penetrate the 50 line on a return move like that. So we know we're early. How early? Maybe a few weeks. But don't you think they would have really thrown this down? I think it was a failure. We would have failed the dot. We would be trending lower. In fact, the Solana candle, was like a nothing. In the end, the weekly ended up bullish. Those are very small but critical signs that go against I think the common rationale. So you're bunched up, you're consolidating zone, you're taking its time. That's fine. The other one that I like, and notice I'm sticking with the bigger stuff. I'll look at some of those T coins, and I have a bunch lined up. But here's Binance. Binance coin, they just let him out of jail, which I still don't understand. I mean, I know the charges, but it's a state of affairs when you're going after, I think, people like that. And I don't have a real preference or knowledge about the guy, but it seems to me like that was a pretty heavy slap on the wrist. Now, a guy like SBF, we know that, that's blatant fraud. I don't think the other guy, CZ, was really trying to pull scams here, but doesn't matter. Think about it this way. They sent the founder and CEO to prison, and the price action retraced like a 50% level and is back challenging prior highs. I want this. Binance coin goes, gets above the weekly level. That's your trigger. And it is a shark to 5-0. This one's better because it did the crazy shakeout exactly at the 50 level. The best 5-0s actually do that. I mean, that's probably would be one for the textbook, next textbook, whatever that is. I think there'll be one more, guys, before I'm done. But it's like here. Go up, come back to the zone, retest the zone. 613, 645. Keep an eye on it. I like it. What do we have on a 4-hour chart per se? Big capitulation. Oh, all right, little bullish bat on the 4-hour. I kind of like that. Get just as maybe a short-term move, but longer term, it is about these weekly charts. And take a look at the deep crab on the 4-hour chart. Let me clean this up. We just look at the pattern. If you're looking for entries on this stuff, I would be looking at 4-hour charts for sure. Here you go. Yeah, let me just do that. Take away the bearish patterns. It's like this. We came off of that. There you go. What was August? It was a type 2, guys. That's it. Let the software tell you. T1, perfectly off a 1618 throwdown. T2, in that August correction, but man, another hop response. Send it back, minimum T2. So on this move, I'm still targeting 620. If I was just looking at that as a 4-hour chart, and consider that possible continuation off that low. I want confirmation with that though. Okay, definitely looking for confirmation in the form of a yellow dot like that. Yeah, that's hey, incredible. SBF is not getting out soon. That guy should rot. He should rot. I saw him speak at the Bitcoin conference 2020. Boy, that was, in retrospect, I knew there was some big names. Saw the Winklevoss twins. I saw Michael Saylor. He spoke. There were one or two other people, and he was the big player at the time. But it was all a scam. The other ones, Saylor's proving himself. It's serious. It reminds me of .com days where these guys were out there swinging it, and they ended up, taking concept to mainstream and basically have taken over. And I think Binance Coin, Coinbase, those other ones, they'll be the winners. There won't be many, but they will be the winners. So that's why I'm sticking with the big stuff. A couple more. What's up, Hans? Let's look at Rune. I know what you're getting at on Rune. And a lot like Rune. Rune's like this. Coinbase, where are you? Or doesn't really matter. Could be Binance. Yeah. I hear it on these kind of plays. I get it. I know what you're saying. That's a daily bat. I would stick more with the weekly. And I've been saying this all along, that the recipe is weekly oversold with daily or weekly patterns, preferably type 2s. But Rune, yeah, got oversold. Okay, you have my attention now because this is exactly what we're looking for Bitcoin to do. That's above the 50. It's cleared that 50 test. So that's interesting. Couple of yellow dots. Got it. Maybe it takes its time. Get a little reaction here, but what's that? Since October, it's a bat going back 263. Okay. I think the other thing to look for, and this is so similar to last year, where a lot of these were stuck in their downtrends. Once they cleared, then you really had something. That's probably what you need to wait for right now. A little more development. There's a bunch. You guys know I've liked Render for a long time and still do. And I think we need to optimize that entry pretty soon. Big Gartley did a nice reaction, but you go to the weekly, you have this. It's a bigger Gartley for the weekly. And I think on this move, Render goes to 728. And look what's happened on your 50 level. Weekly time frame. That could be next week. And that's the go signal. Render. And what's the other one? Akash Network. Where is it? AKT. There you go. Give me the daily chart. Akash Network is down at like 250. There you go. Hop level at 210. Yes, we got overbought on this most recent reaction, but the weekly is still not there yet. So I hope this clarifies a time issue and also longer term kind of continuation trigger that you get above the 50, you've got something. Now, you could easily say, Scott, I see this one. Oh, why wouldn't you say that goes to the 50? Was there any dot to the left of it? Did you have any daily patterns? You have to have something looking left to assume that it's not just every one. But if we had patterns on the left side of this and then we were poking up, I'd say maybe that's worth a shot. But you didn't. There was nothing there. Here, you got some dots, and the dots are really a simplified way to express a strong divergent condition, meaning the price is trying to get thrown down, but the undercurrent is strong as AF. Keep an eye on that. Here's one more, and then I'll go to the rest of the other ones. AIOZ network, scratching the 50 line. Daily, look at that. Real nice Gartley. Perfect type 2 Gartley. 45 cents. But it's not a go until we get that weekly to poke up. It could roll over and take more time. I'm not too concerned about it. You might ask, well, why not just jump into it now? I'm going to miss out. It's not how we roll the dice. We get the signals, then we go with some wind at our back. The other thing going on here, we will get a dot. One more green weekly candle, we'll get a dot, and whatever that is, it's the next week. It's the go. Rune will perform well. Okay, where do I get that information, my friend? Where do I go to get information of, like, I dare I say not use case. A lot of people claim use case, but I'd love to know some reliable sources. I'm open. Please put them in the chat or email me at harmonictrader@gmail.com. Gala, is that Justin? No, it's for GoldenEye. Gala, so another one was a really nice winner for us last year and back up and then back down. Gala's got some bigger patterns, but I'm not really interested in the low floaters. And there are harmonic things here, but I'm just not into trying to capture something off the all-time low when we have clear trending situations. And I'm speaking from experience. I've been burned myself on trying to chase these little twerps. You had a couple others. What's going on, MH? Welcome. ALPH, sorry. Not ALF, but ALPH. Looks like this. ALPH. There it is. Okay. Who said that? Incredible. Nice. I think we can all agree that's a trending crypto. Made great progress pre-halving, sizable retracement, but well above the lows. That's the difference from Gala versus ALPH. And what about the weekly? Really no patterns there on that feed. Let me Gate IO. What is let me see if I got a better, like a Binance feed with more data. Always the frustrating thing with crypto. MEXC, there's Binance. No, that's Alpha. Alphium. Let's see if they give us more data. Not really, but I do like it. And it's got exactly the 50 breakout we've been referencing that happened a couple weeks ago. And now that's pushing higher like that. So you do have some things, at least on the weekly schedule. Oh, there's the type 2 bat. Okay, beautiful T-coin. That's the recipe, folks. Right there. You've got a pattern, all that, like 123. ABCD at 145. That's probably a really strong number to be looking for an entry. Yellow dot, again, not to just say, oh, there's some random dot here, go. No, you have pattern levels, T2s, here, and then your 50 is pushing. So this will be a good one to follow. I'll keep that on my list. I appreciate that one. Those are great. A couple more. Link. Yes, my man. I do like Link dynamics. Link is looking like this. Weekly Gartley, 940. Yellow dot kind of preceding it where you might have some divergence to trigger, but check out the daily. We could come back for another test into the zone. 1060, maybe as low as $9. And the weekly, let's look at that. So weekly here, beautiful Gartley. Chainlink. You want to talk about use case? I've been hearing about Chainlink since 2016, 2018. But ask yourself, what's preceding this? Pattern, dot, great. What about 50 breakout? Not yet. Get above that 50 breakout. Needs to happen. Important technical switch that needs to go on. Yes, they are in the zone. Agree. They're in the zone, but the zone is just the starting point. The pattern is the signpost of future price action. The dot confirmation. Type 2s. 3-bar breakouts. These are all the additional early signs that show us, okay, pattern's yielding something. Otherwise, we get stuff like, Chili's, which, what's his face, Raul Paul was talking about way back in 2020, 2018, that this was going to be on every sports team. And, I think you got to go back and look at what people said 4 years ago. Go back to the stuff that I said 4 years ago. Because 2020, by May and June, we were fully out. And this is another one where, how much can you expect? Big straight up, straight back down. It's a weekly chart. You'd be waiting for years. And that's not what we want to do. One more from the Ponds Doge. Trying to throw it down under 10 cents. Funny icon. I just get the other feeling that this is not making sustainable progress. Not bad. We have patterns here. Check out the daily has some patterns. All right. Right at 10 cents. They're trying to throw it down. What's the weekly position? I guess 10 cents is trying to be the floor, just like 5 cents was 2 years ago. But you do have to do this move with all of your crypto. All right, you need to see some momentum out of these levels of support, or you're going to go sideways for a much longer time. And I think whatever the allocation cycle ends up being, it's going to favor the big caps and those that have already progressed. And you'll go back and be like, yeah, okay, here's the second wave. And I say that mostly about instruments like Cardano, where, not to beat up on Cardano, but you're right back to where you were, scraping multi-year decade lows at 25 cents. And you have some patterns again down here, BAT, but it's just a little reaction up, back down. And I would think even Cardano is back at like 27 cents before it does anything. Yeah, you got to separate them. I've been saying that for a while, but I think it's before this whole party starts. We want to make sure we're in those that have made major moves, that are at least in that position where you're looking at a trending environment. Here's the other one. Caspa. Look, that's an uptrend. That's the stock market a year ago, 2 years ago, making firm progress. I'd love to see this thing come back even. Where's the bat? Where's my bat? Did I turn off my patterns? I think I did. Hold on. Oh, I did. I turned off the bearish patterns. Well, that's a start. There's a shark. But made progress first half. Okay, shark to 5.0. The 5.0 went back for the retest, the 886. But Caspa is a candidate that, look, you get above these highs, whatever this channel that it developed starting a year ago would still be intact. It's like this. There you go. Regression channel. Feed it forward. I don't have a trigger on that yet, but that is the kind of trending crypto we want to be sizing up. The rest of it, I just think you've got to let it go, even in the best of use case scenarios from your brother-in-law or cousin. What's up, Leo? Yeah. Um, which one is that? It's Axie, AXS. Been a disappointment. Axie's another one. Look, it may be value, but trend, no. Potential cemetery crypto, yes. I was big on that, looking for the retest. We had a couple of things, like 660 was a big number, but it came and it ran hard for us last year and beginning of this year and came all the way back down. You have a bat pattern at the moment, but why? Why? I would rather be just aping into Bitcoin or BNB or something like that than expecting a miracle to happen from this point forward. Not to say that that couldn't go from $4.80, $5 up to $8 like that. But the goal here for this cycle is to get on crypto that will go into price discovery and just keep flying. One or two more. I'm almost talked out. Yeah, I'm a little amped today. Coffee was good. I've really been meditating and contemplating on a lot of things to come. When is this cycle going to begin? What can we expect from it? How should we position? And I am amazed at what the stock market is doing in general. Jasmy, another T coin. We could theoretically say this has made progress with a bat. It's not a type 2. So take that for what is it worth. And then, that's progress. But do I have anything down here? Not yet. What about the other feed? That's a better feed longer term. Binance, this is Jasmy. Okay. HSI has yet to turn up. We could be sideways for a while. And we're in this pattern. You're trying to surf out of this pattern, but XA level at 186 is probably going to have to get tagged a few times. Before I go, I'll give you one or two that still have got me. Where is it? API 3. It's kind of like AIOZ, but API 3's got the ingredients like this. Here you go. Weekly, big bat pattern. What is the... There you go. Weekly, oversold. Dot, 130 area. I thought the daily was a type 2 as well. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. Is it... Hold on. I mean, you see a lot of patterns here, no doubt. This last retracement produced a lot of patterns, but which one are trending, which aren't? I thought it was in the A's, guys. API 3. Let me look. No, and you're going to see as I go around. Maybe it's Aerodrome Finance. Relatively new. Big shark pattern. But again, look at where HSI is still pointing down. Maybe that's the easiest way to go through whatever your crypto is. Can we verifiably say this is going up or down? It's going down now. Could it turn up? Yeah, and that's what you're waiting for. That's also why for all summer long I'm saying we need some green weekly candles to precede the launch. We haven't seen it. So if your favorite crypto is like this, you're probably waiting a little longer. Hold on. I really want to... was it Ondo? Well, Ondo has a bat, and that was a high flyer. But I'm thinking come back to 51, retest that XA, and let's see here. Nothing there yet. Hold on. Maybe it was Super? Now I'm reaching here. Yeah, Super has some things. The Super was a high flyer last year. There's a bad pattern, nice retracement structure, somewhere around 55 cents. Notice how we've had a couple of bounces, but didn't really net anything. And then you go to the weekly, that's a little juicier. Okay, first week, last week of a .50 breakout, and I think we're going to have to start featuring these conditions, these situations, because once they go, it's not like we're screwing around and waiting anymore. That could get some serious development over the next week or two to where the price acceleration begins and you ride it much like the last one. You know, it's a really similar condition, but at least ride it up to the 88.6 level. So if you're new, guys, get over there, harmonictrader.com. Please start as a basic member, get the free trial, and sign up. Check out all the information first, and then subscribe. Okay, it's really important. Were you saying, what was that? Thank you, Lawrence. It was ACH. I knew it was an A. It's like this. And ACH was one of the ones we've talked about recently. Where's the daily structures like this? And I still have that as lower. Meaning I think the target on ACH was like 130, 144. We're now oversold again, but it's starting to ramp up. Maybe that was not it. I'll come back to these. I know there was a really prime one in the A's. Before I go, we need to look at XRP. Because XRP is a strange, interesting creature that they keep hitting it. Every time they get up to 60 cents, they take it back down. But this is another one where I'm starting to look at it plainly from a downtrend perspective. And I think there are a number of similarities. You go back from last year, okay, and this was last year, where you couldn't really expect that downtrend to do much until we got to the right of that, and you got the move up. It was almost a perfect T1. Depending on your feed, it was a T1. And now you're back down, trying to challenge that downtrend. I'm not saying it's today. I'm not saying it's this week or even in a month. But as they continue to squeeze that, that's a big one. And I do think that announcement showed you that there is artificial pressure on this. Whatever they were doing to suppress XRP, they were suppressing XRP. For our strategy, for how we look at things, okay, let's let the technicals speak for themselves. Let's break the downtrend resistance and start some development where a 3-bar breakout, you know, a close above 65 cents would be the same thing as saying we're ready to go back to T1. Also, the weekly just cracked on that last move on the announcement above the 50. Okay, and now I'd be looking for a week over week resolution of this area. It's an interesting big crypto that maybe we could finally see something. I mean, it's I think if they were going to really crush it, we'd be lower. We'd be a lot lower. There's a couple different feeds. You know, you'd be back at 40 cents. But that was a slam dunk down to 40. Maybe one last time. And can we crack above here? This is why price action going forward week over week is critical. I can't say it's going to be next week, absolutely for sure. But I do know when the signal comes for Bitcoin, total, all of them, I know what I'm looking for. And I'm looking for this big 50 push soon. Okay? That's what I have for today, guys. have a great holiday weekend. Enjoy yourselves. We'll be back on Tuesday. I do think that no matter where we're at, we can go into hyperdrive starting as early as Tuesday, where we want to bring the next level of energy to these markets and get ready to ride it from now, I would say, till January, late January. It is going to be quite a ride. Thanks, everybody. Get over to Harmonic Trader. Any other questions?